Almost 2 months ago, I moved back to my hometown that I left when I was 18. If someone told me 2 years ago that this would be the outcome of my challenging years abroad, I would simply lose my mind. Back then, I thought putting so much effort, time, and money into building a life abroad just to end up in the same place after all meant a big failure. Moving to the other side of the world at 18, all by myself, was a pivotal moment in my life. I had tremendous expectations of myself. Being a teenager with a burning curiosity about life abroad, I was also yearning for the freedom to become someone. For me, studying abroad was the opportunity of my life, to the extent that at some point it became a part of my identity. I became that one friend, a daughter, living on the other side of the world, who is also always living for somewhere else. My home was split between two drastically different countries, and I was leading two completely different lives. Throughout these years, I'd been a guest in my own country, just visiting every summer. I became such a stranger to the place I had once called home while getting used to my new life abroad, that the thought of it ending someday and me going home for good wasn't even at the farthest corner of my mind. In fact, that would mean I never got to prove myself abroad, and it all was just a wasted opportunity. And then, on one random day, my worst fear became my reality. I watched a little piece of paper abruptly bring to an end the life I'd been building for 5 years as I booked my one-way flight home. I remember that heavy feeling in my stomach, sitting at the coffee shop, staring at the date on the screen that indicated my last day in the US. Life didn't feel real after that. I knew that as an international student, graduating from the university meant not only my university years coming to an end, but also the end of a much bigger period of my life. I was busy getting ready for the transitional stage, moving out, preparing for a long-distance relationship with my partner, with whom I shared a home for the last year, saying goodbye to my friends who had become my home away from home, carrying an overwhelming feeling of anxiety and nostalgia, and a bittersweet feeling of going from one home to another. But deep down, something did feel different. Something felt right. Somewhere along the way, my perspective had changed. Despite the spectrum of emotions that naturally comes with leaving your entire life behind, deep down, I didn't really feel like I was losing something anymore. I think it started when I first noticed the signs of myself outgrowing the place I had once been so afraid to lose. I watched myself slowly outgrow the environment and routines before I even knew that this chapter of my life was coming to an end. Over the past year, everything started feeling too mundane and repetitive. I started noticing a strange apathy towards things I used to love. I dragged myself through the last semester of my university. I would wake up tired of the same routine I'd been living for the past year, feeling like everything around me had lost its purpose, its color, meaning, and its magic. I knew deep down that I was over it, that I needed a change. It wasn't that I suddenly hated my life there. I think I had simply reached the point where I felt like I had already found what I came here to find. I had experienced so many versions of myself in that place, and somewhere along the way, I became curious about who else I could become outside of it. Back then, I interpreted that feeling as needing somewhere new. Looking back, I'm not sure it was the place I was craving. I think I was craving just another version of myself. I found a piece of my writing from a few months before leaving, which goes, "I feel like I'm on the last few chapters of a mediocre book I'm reading. A book I no longer feel personally connected to, but rather a long 500-page story, the final chapters of which have become a slow read that drains your soul. A book that perhaps was never meant to entertain me forever, but rather it says my patience, resilience, adaptability, and ability to push beyond my own limits. Most people would give their last dime to own this book. I would have once too. I was just as enthusiastic and hopeful, discovering it page by page, excited to find out what was waiting for me in the next chapter. But somewhere around the middle, I started noticing the patterns. I could anticipate the characters' reactions before they even happened. I knew the rhythm of the story. I had become so familiar with its inner world that there was no longer the same sense of excitement that comes with discovery. And once I reached that point, everything else began to feel repetitive. Reading those words a month later was strange because I realized they had described something I hadn't yet been able to put into words. I hadn't stopped being afraid of going home overnight. I think it was more of a gradual change, affected by many things at once. Every time I met a new version of myself, every time I discovered something about myself that I hadn't known before, the idea of going back home became a little less frightening and started feeling less like a failure. Almost like getting to know myself gave me a sense of trust and safety. I knew I could take care of myself. I knew I could adapt. I knew I could build a life from nothing. Find people, lose people, start over, change my mind, and still remain myself. And the more certain I became of that, the less I needed the place that taught me those things to keep proving them to me. Maybe that's why returning home slowly stopped feeling like going backwards. The things I had once associated with becoming someone, like independence, confidence, resilience, the ability to build a life for myself, were no longer things I needed to find in a place. I found them within me. And maybe that was the part I hadn't understood at 18. I thought I had to leave home to find another place where I could become someone. I didn't realize that one day becoming that person will mean knowing that I could carry her with me anywhere. Maybe it was never really the newness of the place that excited me. Maybe it was just the possibility of meeting a new version of myself there. Looking back at my journals from this transition, I noticed something. There was never one final feeling I could assign to coming home. One day I felt sad, anxious, uncertain. The next day I felt like a completely new person, excited about the chapter ahead. Then I would wake up missing my old life again, grieving people and routines I'd left behind, only to get caught up in a new day, new events, and a new routine. I kept moving between these feelings without ever arriving at one that felt like the final one. And maybe that's okay too. Maybe we're not meant to have one final feeling about the things that change us. Maybe we're simply meant to move through them, adapt, grieve, begin again, and keep becoming. And that's why, looking back now, I don't think coming home was a failure. Nor the place I called home for 5 years, despite eventually stopping being the right place for me, makes those 5 years any less meaningful. If anything, they gave me something I could take with me. My independence, confidence, resilience, and most importantly, the trust I have in myself. At 18, I thought success meant leaving home, building a life somewhere else, and proving that I could stay there. I used to think success was about the place I lived in. Now I understand that it's the other way around. Maybe the life I'd built has less to do with where I am and more to do with who I carry within me.